It is not too late to make your vision board for this year, and it's not too late to start goals. There is so much pressure on New Year's resolutions, and I feel like they rarely actually stick and they rarely actually work. Think about how many times you hear someone talking about their New Year's resolution and how it really changed their life in September or May or even March or February. It seems like by the second week of January or the first week of February, all these New Year's resolutions that we were so excited about have gone out the window and nobody cares about them anymore, because the reality is it is very hard to change your life overnight. And in reality, nothing really changes between December and January other than the calendar and the year. For the most part, our lives are relatively the same. So to think that we can just snap our fingers and completely change all of our habits just because it's January 1st is a little bit unrealistic. Disclaimer, throughout this video, I'm going to be referring to New Year's resolutions and goals. And in my opinion, a lot of that stuff is semantics, and New Year's resolutions and goals are oftentimes the same. So if you're not big on New Year's resolutions per se, but you feel all this way and you're relating to this video based on your goals that you set in the beginning of the year, just insert the word goal anytime I say resolution and vice versa. Whatever fits your mindset more and whatever works for you. So when you're thinking about New Year's resolutions and goals, you may fall into one of two categories. Number one, you fell off of your New Year's resolutions and now it either feels silly to start them, or you haven't even thought about restarting your New Year's resolutions now. Or category number two, you never made a list of goals or set a New Year's resolution for this year. If you're in the first group and you fell off of your New Year's resolutions, it's fine. It's okay. It's normal. It's normal to stray from your goals, especially when they involve changing your habits on the day-to-day in a big way. And most of them do. At least most stereotypical New Year's resolutions kind of involve changing habits in a big way. For example, getting in shape and going to the gym. It's been a stereotype for years that people set this goal of going to the gym and they go between January 1st and 5th, and then the gym is never to see them again. But obviously something like that involves changing your habits and changing your daily routine and your schedule. And for most people, it is unrealistic to do that overnight. So it's okay to fall off your goals. It's normal. Falling off your goals or falling off of your New Year's resolution doesn't mean that you should be discouraged. It's okay to stray, and it's okay to restart and then keep going again. I saw this reel recently that kind of related to starting goals and falling off of them or falling out of your good habits. It was basically this guy walking around his house doing daily tasks like laundry or eating cereal with milk. And as he's holding the laundry basket, he drops a sock or one article of clothing, and then he looks at it and just dumps the entire basket of laundry onto the ground. And then when he is filling up his cereal bowl with milk, one drop of milk falls outside the bowl and he just dumps the entire thing of milk all over the table and spills the entire thing. I thought that was a really good visual representation of how our minds kind of work when we fall off of our goals for one day or 1 week or even a month. So often we're like, oh, well, what's even the point? You know, I missed a day, a week, a month. It's over for me. I'm not going to start again now. It would be pointless to start again now. But this visual representation is showing you that just because one little thing went wrong, and that little thing is I didn't go to the gym this week, or I didn't do X, Y, and Z thing to reach my goals this week, it's completely pointless to throw it all away. It does not make sense to throw it all away. And it would be crazy to throw it all away because you dropped one little sock or spilled one little drop of milk on your journey. Now, if you're in the second camp that I mentioned, if you never made New Year's resolutions or set goals or made your vision board for this year, that's okay too. For me personally, I did set a list of goals and I was very excited about them. This year, I had the idea of not really setting a New Year's resolution or a goal for the year. I really broke it down into months. So I set a few like random, more broad goals. And this is where semantics comes into it, because if you were to see my goals for the year or my New Year's resolution, I don't call it resolution. I just call it goals or things I want to do and like desires I have for my life. If you were to see it, you might be like, that's not really a goal. One of my things on my list this year was see a Broadway show, take a tennis lesson. I forget some of the other ones, but basically those were things that I was like, I just want to do these things. I have never done these things. And this year I want to make it happen for myself. I put those on my miscellaneous. I don't care when I do that. I just want to do it this year and I want to push myself to do it this year. And then my actual goals that involved like working and daily tasks and things that I can really put into numbers, I broke those things down monthly. And instead of making these broad goals for the year, I just wrote what I wanted to do in January and February. And then I have to be honest, I fell off. I think I wrote one or two things for March. And then for April, I wrote nothing. And I did start kind of getting discouraged, but I have been thinking recently that there are so many ways that you can look at the year and break up the calendar into a way that makes sense for you. So if you really feel motivation when you see the new year in January, you can kind of mentally look at the calendar year in that way in smaller sections. So stay with me here. I know that was really confusing, but basically that motivation that you feel in January, you can kind of look at your calendar and be like, I'm going to break it down by quarter and see each quarter of the year as a new start. And hopefully you'll get that inspiration and motivation that hit you in January on January 1st. You can also think about it in seasons, actual seasons of the year. So I live in a place with seasons. We have spring, summer, winter, fall, and they're all very different and very different vibes. So maybe you break up your year into seasons and you say, this is the stuff I want to accomplish during winter when I'm stuck inside. This is the stuff I want to accomplish during spring when all of my friends are starting to leave the house and hang out again and my life changes in X, Y, and Z way. This is what I want to do in the summer when I can be outside and enjoy the good weather. And this is what I want to do in the fall when there's so much going on and it's a very transitional time of the year. Whatever works for you, you can frame it in your mind so that you get some of that motivation that you may have felt in the beginning of the calendar year. Personally, one of my versions of that is breaking down the year into months. And I started doing that, like I said, in January. I wrote a ton of stuff for January, a ton of stuff for February. And then, yes, I fell off. Yes, I fell off, and that is okay. I almost got discouraged and I was like, you know what? Who cares? It's May now. I just checked my list. I use my notes app in my phone and on my computer, and I wrote one thing for March. One thing. I completely forgot about it, didn't go back to this note, and now it's May. So I very easily could have just erased that. But I was like, you know what? There is some positivity and encouragement that comes in checking something off of your to-do list, your goals or whatever, and it makes me feel more motivated and it makes me feel like I've actually done something. To that point, some of the things that I wrote down for January and February, I didn't actually accomplish, and I think that's a good thing. So rather than going and erasing them and feeling discouraged about the things that I didn't do, I think it's a good exercise in understanding how much I can realistically do in 1 month and how many goals and to-dos I can set for myself per month so that I can actually accomplish these things and it's not overwhelming or it's not unrealistic. So I am leaving on my list all of the things that I have accomplished and checked off and all the things that I did not do, and the checkbox is still wide open, and I think that's okay. I just will roll some of those things over into a following month or a month that those tasks are more realistic for me. So for April, I wrote nothing. Fell off in March. April, nada, not one goal written down on my list, and that is okay. I'm getting back on the wagon in May. I'm making my list for May. One more thing about laying out your months like this. I didn't write all 12 in the beginning of the year because I think that's unrealistic. And as you check things off of your to-dos or your goals or your wants or your desires, your goals, wants, desires, to-dos, they all change. So it's completely unrealistic for me to set goals for the second half of the year or even things for 3 to 4 months from now. And that's why I did not write anything for March or April in the beginning of the year. So I'm starting my list for May. I'm getting back on it and I'm excited. It actually, my brain works in a way where I get excited and motivated when I see a list of things that I feel I can actually accomplish. I'm going to work on making my list. And I thought of another analogy to just really describe why we should be doing that and starting our goals or our lists or our vision boards at any time of the year. I was thinking about if you got a corporate job and maybe you transferred to another company or, oh my God, it's getting so dark. The sun just went behind a cloud. Okay, the sun is back. I was just sitting in darkness for a minute there. I was thinking about setting goals throughout the year and comparing it to if you worked in a corporate office or got a new job or transferred jobs and you're with a new company, you have a new boss, whatever. Imagine your boss comes to you and says, "Hey, it's May or it's July or it's September. What are your goals for this year?" If you looked at them and you were like, "Well, it's kind of pointless to set goals in July. I should have set these goals in January." Your boss would think you're crazy. It does not matter what time of year you're setting goals, they are still valuable. It's completely dark again. It's been sunny all day. And now when I'm filming this video, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll use the natural light. Now the sun is going away behind clouds and I see a ton of clouds rolling in. That's okay. I'm going to continue. Anyway, you're the boss of your own life. You are your own boss. So hold yourself to the same standard that a corporate boss would hold you to when they ask you to set goals for the remainder of the year. All right, I changed my camera settings while waiting for the sun. So if the video is looking crazy, bear with me. Back to my list of months and small goals within those months. When I think about goals for my life, obviously I have these overwhelming, overarching desires of my life. I want to be financially free. I want to own a home. I want to be able to never stress about a car payment, things like this. For me personally, in my career, I have a creative career. I am self-employed. Therefore, my journey to achieve all of these things is a little less straightforward than it would be if I just had a corporate job. Sometimes I struggle, and especially earlier on in my career, in my early 20s, I'm 29 right now, I just turned 29 a week ago. I would really struggle with what tasks am I even supposed to be doing? The sun is back. This is crazy. I would struggle with what tasks am I even supposed to be doing to reach these goals? I am down to work hard. I'm ready to work hard, but I don't even know what tasks I am supposed to be working on in order to achieve these bigger goals or dreams that I have. So for myself, I have kind of reframed what a goal is. And now I think of goals as more just daily tasks. That's why I kind of said in the beginning of the video, if you saw some of these goals that I had for the year, you would be like, what? That's not a goal. That's not a resolution. That's just something you want to do. That's just an activity you want to do this year. But that really works for me. And checking those things off really helps me stay motivated. And looking back at my list of all the things that I did accomplish this year really helps me moving forward. So that is one more reason why I love to not cross off the things that you didn't do or not just completely delete the things that you did achieve this year. I feel like it's so easy for us to compare ourselves to other people and feel like we're not doing anything with our lives or we're not accomplishing things in our lives, especially compared to other people that just seem to have it all, or it's the facade of having it all that we see on social media. So I think that keeping these daily tasks in your list and looking back on them is a good reminder of the things that you did do throughout the year, and you are checking things off and you are progressing through your career or your life or whatever area of life this goal relates to. For example, when I mentioned that I wrote one thing down for March, and at the end of April, I re-looked at my list and I was like, didn't write anything down except one thing. I almost deleted it. I almost was like, oh, I'll just delete March. I won't have anything for April and I'll start again in May. And then I was like, no, I actually shouldn't do that. Because the one thing that I did write down for March, I actually did it. I forgot that I had written it down, but I did actually do it. And that was making my New York City vlog when I went to New York City in March. So I did check that off and it's still on my list, and I will look back at it at the end of the year and I'll say, the one thing that came to mind when I was making goals for March was this video, and I did do that video and I'm happy that I did that video, rather than having nothing for March and having to look back and say, I forgot about March and April and have nothing to show for it. I was actually on my friend's podcast recently. I can link it below. We were talking about our career paths and I was kind of going into detail about how I got to where I am in my career. And we started talking about goals and dreams. And I kind of started talking about the semantics between the two. Basically, one of my points was I like to have these little things on my list to check off, because obviously I have this bigger goal of like buy my mom a car, or I think that's the exact example I use, or like buy my parents a house or pay off their mortgage or something. Realistically, it's going to take a long time to get to the point where I could pay off a house or buy a car and just not even think about it. So then I look at my list and I'm like, well, I haven't bought my mom a car. I haven't paid off a house. I haven't bought a car outright and not thought twice about it. Does that mean I'm not successful or I'm not getting any closer to my goals or I didn't achieve any of my goals that year because I'm not yet financially free and I can't yet take a vacation where money ain't a thing and I just book anything I want and put my card down and it doesn't even matter. I don't have to look at the check at dinner. I'm not there yet. But that doesn't mean that I didn't achieve a lot of important things in my life. And the things that I am doing on a daily basis still do matter and they are helping me to get to those points in the future. And it's important to recognize those things as well in order to keep a positive mindset and maintain the motivation that it takes to achieve those bigger things. At least it does for me. My last point is my yearly vision board. I wanted to make a vision board this year and I didn't because I didn't even know what to write on it. I feel like I don't necessarily connect with vision boards that are all just vibey photos. I want to get better at manifesting. I really do believe in manifesting, but I think I'm really bad at it. I think that there's something going on in my subconscious that is just holding me back from a lot of things. And I have this fear that's kind of in my subconscious, but also kind of in my conscious because I'm able to recognize it right now, that I am going to accidentally manifest things or I'm going to put things on my vision board and be seeing this vision, literally visualizing these things, and they're not going to be exactly what I want my life to be. And then I'm going to achieve the wrong things or manifest the wrong things. Kind of confusing, but that's how my inner brain works on certain things. And maybe I should just make a vision board with really vibey photos. And maybe the reason that I feel like I'm not good at manifesting is because I haven't been doing that recently. I don't know, maybe I'll try it, but I am going to be doing another version of a vision board. And this is an idea that I've seen online somewhere. I don't know who the originator of this idea is, but it is not me. Props to them because I love this idea. I got mini bottles of Prosecco and I am going to label them, each of them, I have 6, with a goal that I have for this year, or not even this year, for something I want to achieve in my life. And I'm going to have them on a shelf in my bedroom and I'm going to look at them every day. And when I achieve said thing that is labeled on each bottle, I'm going to pop the bottle and celebrate that little victory. Going back to what I was saying about these overarching huge life desires, those are not the things that I'm going to be putting on these little bottles. I'm not going to be writing down, pay off my house, or never have to think about a bill at dinner ever again. Those things, it's going to take way longer to get there, and that's okay. So rather than writing those things, I'll be writing smaller goals like having another sponsor for my podcast or having my first brand deal on my personal channel. I haven't thought of everything that I'm writing, but I am going to work on that now. I have my little paper to tape onto the side of the bottle and I have my Sharpie that I'm going to write down these things. I really have to do some deep digging. I have been trying to think of 6 things to write down on these bottles for a while and I really don't even know what to write down because there's so many things I want in life and I'm like, what do I write down on these things? And I guess I'm putting so much pressure on it because I'm like, well, I want to write down things that are good. But something that I'm realizing recently is everything you want in your life is important and you should be celebrating all of it. You don't have to wait until these huge life-changing things happen in order to celebrate. Almost anything that is positive is grounds for celebration in my eyes. So I'm going to write down, I don't know, I've been trying to do TikTok recently. I'm going to write down maybe 5,000 followers on TikTok or 10,000. I don't know. That's still a lot and it's way more than I have now, but it's not a million or it's not 500,000. Those numbers are so crazy and so high. Every new follower or every new listener to my podcast is so exciting and I'm so thankful for all of them, especially listeners of the podcast. I'm so passionate about my podcast. So maybe I'll center a few of these bottles around that. A few more tips for vision boards that I have heard from other people that I might try is making your vision board and setting it as the background of your phone. Actually, I did kind of accidentally manifest that because the sparkling Eiffel Tower has been the backdrop of my phone since 2019. And last year I went to Paris and I saw the sparkling Eiffel Tower and it was a dream come true. So I could argue that I accidentally manifested that, or I did manifest it. Maybe it wasn't an accident. I have also set my vision board as my background on my computer so that I'm looking at it every day. I will say, for me, the background of my computer does become kind of white noise. I barely see it after a while. So that's not completely foolproof. It's not like you're actively engaging with your computer backdrop every single time that you see it, but maybe that's the whole point. Maybe that's where the subconscious manifesting comes into play. The amount of times the light has changed in this video is insane. I have leaned forward and changed the settings on my camera so many times. So bear with me when it comes to the lighting and coloring of this video. That's not the point of it anyway. Those were all of my points for today. I am going to sign off and do these bottles and put them on a shelf in my room. And I'm going to get back to the grind and keep checking things off of my list. And I encourage you to do it too. I hope this video helped you if you needed a little nudge or a little reminder, or if you're stuck in a rut. I hope something in here can help motivate you to work on some of the goals that maybe you put off, or maybe you fell off, or maybe you haven't even set for yourself. Speaking of my podcast, we do have a few episodes about getting out of a rut and finding motivation and being happier in life and achieving goals. And I'm really proud of those episodes, so I will link them in the description below. And if you're interested in hearing more and just a deeper dive on this topic, and it has opinions from other people as well, feel free to check those out. I was really excited about creating those episodes, so I hope that other people find them helpful as well. I hope that you and I and all of us achieve everything that we want to achieve, and we can be motivated together. And I hope some of these tips helped you. If you have any tips for getting back into it, getting out of a rut, achieving goals, setting goals, making vision boards, manifesting, please leave them in the comments below, especially manifesting. I really need help manifesting. I really need to become a better manifester. I'm gonna work on it. Hopefully these bottles will help me work on it. They're a little bit of a visual manifestation, and it's like a prize that I get when I get to the end of my manifestation. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated. Thank you so much for watching my video. I wish you all the best. Love you, appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.